Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Matt Lawrence. I'm a sociology professor at Middlebury College, a member of the governing board of the Shepherd Higher Education Consortium on Poverty, and co-chair of SHEP's Programs Committee. On behalf of the entire SHEP community, welcome to today's sessions that are part of this week's Internship Academy. The Academy has largely been organized by SHEP's staff, and I want to thank Sasha, Abby, and especially Jen for their terrific work making this week such a success so far. We have two programs for this afternoon's gathering. In a few moments, Dr. Randall Akey, professor at UCLA in the Department of Public Policy and American Indian Studies, will deliver this year's keynote address on the topic of poverty, family income, and children's long-run outcomes. After that, we will have a short break and then return for an interactive workshop on using co-design principles for inclusive social change. You'll want to stay in this same Zoom room for both sessions. Many of the Internship Academy events this week have been for interns only. Today is open to affiliates across SHEP's member institutions, as well as community partners. Since we have a broader audience, I want to briefly introduce SHEP to those of you who may be participating in our programming for the first time. The Shepherd Higher Education Consortium on Poverty and its member institutions prepare students for a lifetime of professional and civic efforts to diminish poverty and enhance human capability. Our signature program is this summer internship, and this Internship Academy represents the first week of that program. Tomorrow, interns will start traveling to 12 cities where they will work for the summer. We will gather for SHEP's annual conference in Atlanta at the end of July to celebrate the interns and reflect on their experiences. The model of the internship program, with introductory program at the beginning, experiential learning at its core, and space for reflection at the end, is also a model that many of our member institutions use to structure their campus programming. Each campus runs slightly differently, but we are united by supporting connections among students, faculty, staff, and alumni engaged in the study of poverty and economic inequality. Now, as a faculty member, I'm always excited about the keynote addresses at the Internship Academy and the annual conference. They are the times when SHEP comes together to engage academic scholarship and research about issues related to poverty. But I recognize that academic content alone is insufficient. That's the whole point of making the internship experience so central. And it's also why this week's Academy has included workshops where students can build community with their living cohorts, reflect on their goals and expectations for the summer, and develop professional skills and skills in negotiating conflict that will help them through their summers and beyond. Jen cautions me that it will be either inspiring or terrifying to note that interns have already spent 17 hours together in Zoom workshops this week. At the very least, I think that number represents the dedication you are all bringing to this experience. And those 17 hours of programming are only a fraction of the many hours of year-round work contributed by community partners, alumni, students, and faculty, staff, and administrators from our member institutions. SHEP is one of the only programs I know of that brings those stakeholders together in meaningful collaboration. That also means anyone joining us today has a way to become more involved in SHEP. So please reach out if you are interested in doing so. Finally, as our interns prepare to move to their internship sites, I want to add one thought from my discipline of the sociology of higher education. We should acknowledge that this internship begins after a semester where campuses, including my own and many other member institutions, have reckoned with whether college students can and should engage in efforts to create social change. We have also heard predictions that college students might care about social and political issues during the school year, but will lose interest in the summer. We may differ in our support of specific actions and tactics and policy goals, but regardless of how we each have felt as we have followed activities throughout the country, I find hope in seeing so many students here today committed to spending their summers collaborating with local partners to address housing affordability, food insecurity, unequal education, access to healthcare and legal representation, and the rights of migrants. One of the themes coming through media coverage over the last few months has been that colleges and universities should not be involved in tackling those complex issues, that doing so will somehow deepen the divides between higher education and society. As that debate continues, I believe that SHEP offers a compelling model for how campuses and communities can and indeed must partner together if we are serious about addressing society's most challenging problems. With that, I wish you all a transformative summer of learning, and I look forward to seeing you again in Atlanta. I'm now excited to welcome Dr. Joseph Guzzi, Professor of Economics at Washington and Lee University, who will introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Randall Akey.